How to build good foundations. In this session, I will explain what we here at Wiseberg Academy teach about laying good and solid and long-lasting foundations for our relationships. Think about this as an analogy with building a house. What comes first? Foundations. The thing about foundations is that they may not be the most exciting part to build, not too visible, not even too good looking, but absolutely essential for the house. No foundations, no house, at least no house that would stand for a while. Now, there are two concepts that we operate with that merge together in wonderful synergy to form our Wiseberg Academy's approach. First one is wisdom, and the second is worldviews. Let's take a look at these concepts, wisdom and worldviews, and how they both work together here in our Wiseberg approach. What is wisdom and what it gives? Let's talk about wisdom and how we understand what it is. And now we will answer these two questions. What is this wisdom and how does it benefit us to have this wisdom? First, what is this wisdom? How do we understand it? There is this beautiful introduction by the wisdom himself in book of Proverbs. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of old. Ages ago I was set up at first, before the beginning of the earth. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him, like a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world and delighting in the children of men. And now, O sons and daughters, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not neglect it. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Isn't this beautiful? Now, what is wisdom, biblically speaking? As with many foundational questions, we Christians look for answers in the very beginning of the Bible, the book of Genesis, chapter 1. What do we learn from Genesis? Briefly, that's where we first learn about the triune God and about his identity. He is the creator. What does that mean? He speaks and he creates, he fashions and he orders, and he also establishes his good and wise design for his creation. And we can witness it today in creation as laws of nature or his laws of creation. But also we can see it in society. Similar deep principles, laws if you will, that govern everything. And the same is true also for our relationships. We can observe this wise design, test it, and it's not something narrow or static. It is more like a set of dynamic and powerful principles at work. Biblically speaking, to know this wise design, to know these laws, these dynamic principles, and then to strive to live accordingly, that is true wisdom. That is true wisdom. If such a thing as the Creator's good and wise design exists, if that is true, then what does it mean for you? How may you benefit from knowing it? And this is quite radical. Listen carefully. I'll give you a medical analogy. Testing your blood. How does it work? Take a sample and there is so much data, so much data. But then if you know the norm or the ideal and compare your results to that ideal, then it is easy to see what is good and what is not so good, where you are healthy and where you may have a problem. Makes sense. The same is true when we think about God's good and wise design for our lives, for our entire lives. If you know this wise design, this wisdom, then you can easily assess and diagnose and understand your life or the life of anyone else, to see what is healthy and good and what is not so healthy and not so good, and what is missing from the ideal, from this wise design, and what needs to be improved. This is what this wisdom gives to you. This is what this course and the whole Wiseberg project is about. And this is quite radical and quite powerful and full of potential. And if this is true, then you can become a sage who understands these deep principles, someone who possesses true wisdom. Yes, you. Good. Now that we learn how we understand wisdom here at Wiseberg and what incredible benefits it may give to those who possess it, let us learn about the second element in this wonderful synergy, about worldviews. What are these worldviews? Let's talk about worldviews and how we understand what they are. And we'll do it by answering these 4 questions. What are these worldviews? How do we get them? What exactly do they do? And why is it important to talk about them here in context of relationships? What are these worldviews? And that is a fancy word, worldviews. It's used more and more and is getting traction in different circles. How to explain it? I like to explain it with a metaphor of glasses, of virtual metaphysical glasses. You know how glasses work. You put them on, you look through them, and you perceive the world through your glasses. If glasses are good, they improve your eyesight. If bad, they distort what you see. We all human beings have such invisible metaphysical glasses, our worldviews. And most of time they are distorted, for some more and for some less. Now imagine that you discovered that you have seen this world in a distorted way, that in reality it is much more beautiful and colorful and crisp and attractive, and you begin to realize that you may have missed out on many great things and experiences. So this is what good glasses do. This is what a good and true worldview can do for you. It can make a huge difference. It can make your life so much clearer and beautiful and interesting. Now, how do we get our invisible metaphysical glasses? Think about this. When we are born, we have no idea what this world is about. How do we learn? Who teaches us how to see this world? And it's different at different stages. Parents, teachers, community, friends, media, books, internet, etc. Now let us reflect. How often do we ask these questions? Can I trust these sources? Are they competent? Do they know what they are talking about? Is my grandma really the greatest expert? How often do we ask those questions? We seldom do this. We accept most of what we learn in good faith, believing and trusting that's how we operate. Because there is so much that we simply cannot verify. But it is important to ask these questions when it comes to really important issues, because our worldview influences so much in our lives. So much. What do our worldviews do? How do they influence us? And here I'll give you only a brief overview. Let's build on the glasses metaphor. You have your glasses and that is how you see the world. But it's not just about seeing. Seeing is only one aspect. It is also about perceiving and about interpreting. And then how you perceive and interpret this world, that shapes your values and priorities and allegiances, which in their turn determine how you respond to this world. It influences your decision making, your actions, etc. Basically, your worldview glasses, they shape your entire lives. They shape your entire lives. Finally, our fourth question. Why is this whole thing about worldviews important here, where we want to learn how to build happy and lasting marital relationships? First, more generally speaking, we need to be conscious about our glasses. And similar as with our physical glasses, so also with our metaphysical glasses, we need to pursue the best ones available to get the clearest possible view on reality in which we live. Makes sense, right? But then, and this is very important, if we want to enter serious relationships, we would do wise and well if we are looking for someone with similar glasses, so that we both see and perceive and interpret this world harmoniously. And ideally, we would find ourselves with our spouse not only both having similar glasses, but both having correct, clear, beautiful and truthful glasses. Because this is so practical, that you both would see the relationships and marriage in the same way, that you would see them wisely. And this is what this course is about. Wisdom and worldviews. How do this wisdom and worldviews come together? How do they function? Why combine these two concepts? What is the deal? Remember, we could say that our worldview is the deepest level of our consciousness. As we just reflected, our worldview shape everything else in our lives. They determine how we see and perceive and interpret this world. They define our loyalties, values, preferences, attitudes, fears, hopes, dreams, and so on. They shape our daily behaviors, decisions, actions, our relationships. Now, if we want to gain wisdom, or if we want to make someone else wise, how do we do that? Where do we apply our energy? And it's not enough just to change the surface level, meaning our behavior. Not enough even to change middle level, our values, and our criteria for good and bad. We need to target the deepest, the worldview level. But how do we do that? How do we transform this deepest level? And the answer is with wisdom. Wisdom! By teaching about the good and wise design of our Creator. We need to replace our, or at least to correct, our current glasses with the glasses of wisdom, so to speak, so that we would see the world and everything in it wisely. And this is what this course and this whole project is about. We want to offer you such new glasses of wisdom and to help you to be transformed on the worldview level. We do not want to just give you some information or even knowledge. More, we want you to become a wise person. We want you to become a wise person.